Welcome to the Tonto's Demise Draft Recap. This is the Hillbillies on PCP. Tonto Bowl 6 champ sitting here with...
Yinzer Jags 1, 3, was it 17? 17 champion, I think.
Also...
Dubs T Hooligans, back-to-back champions, don't know the years.
And...
Shawshank Athletics, 0 championships.
All right, and we are going to do a quick recap of the first 6 rounds just to get a feel for how we think that the first half of the draft really went. We're going to start off with first pick overall, and that's Darkwing Jut. Here are the first 6.
Fuck you, Russell Wilson.
Wow, that was early. I mean, and this is Jut. This is Jut, man. Save that for gags.
Didn't he draft Russell Wilson? Fuck you, Russell Wilson.
No, I drafted Russell Wilson.
I'll say it then, too.
All right, just save it. All right, so Darkwing Jut, he drafted, here are his top 6 picks. Listen carefully. First pick, obviously, CMC. Round 2, OBJ. He loves them. Round 3, Robert Woods. Round 4, Michael Gallup. Round 5, DeAndre Swift. And then round 6, Carson Wentz, quarterback. So my first thoughts right off the top, I mean, amazing first pick with CMC is a no-brainer. Takes 3 wide receivers, and then DeAndre Swift, who honestly I didn't know too much about. I think if I haven't heard the name, it's probably a reach for round 5. And then Carson Wentz, no complaints. But DeAndre Swift is a little bit of a reach in my opinion.
Yeah, he's a rookie.
What do you think about that, Det?
You know, Brian, the world is your oyster. And Justin Bajork has opened up that clam. With McCaffrey,
Yes.
how could you not take him? 3 wide receivers right off the bat. DeAndre Swift, I'm not really quite sure. Michael Gallup was kind of a reach in my opinion. Carson Wentz is brittle and will break, and then he'll have to rely on Cam Newton. Hopefully he's learned the playbook by then. But he's also got Kenyon Drake, so he's sitting pretty.
All right. Bean, any thoughts on the first 6 rounds?
I mean, I think he's got some solid players there for sure. DeAndre Swift being with the Detroit Lions, not exactly an up-and-coming team. I think they're going to end up behind a lot this year, and they're going to end up having to turn to their passing game. So I don't know enough about him. Like, is he a pass-catching running back? If he is, maybe get some points there. If he's not, then he could end up being left out of the game plan a little bit because everybody knows that rookie running backs struggle with pass protection. So he might be on the field a little less than Justin would like to see him.
All right, and finally, Mr. Hayward, any comments?
I mean, you can't really go wrong with CMC, obviously.
Yeah.
I think the 3 wide receivers, who besides...
We got Beckham, Woods, and Gallup.
Yeah, 3 solid wide receivers. I mean, Gallup proved that he can handle a workload when he needs to last year. So Swift he was good in college, but you know, like Bean said, Detroit running backs don't have a great history of performing. I don't know. I think he had a pretty solid first 6 rounds.
Fair enough. Let's move on. All right. The second pick overall, second team overall, is Jay. Close doesn't count. I don't know what his team name will be this year. His first 6 picks were round 1, Saquon Barkley. Round 2, Juju. Round 3, Mark Ingram. Round 4, Julian Edelman. Round 5, Jarvis Landry. And round 6, Rob Gronkowski. So we'll shift it around. I won't give my comments first. I'll let Det go first this time.
Oh, shit.
Okay, you not ready? Okay.
Go
ahead.
Barkley, fantastic. Saquon, love it. Juju, not bad for the end of the 2nd round. Mark Ingram, I think was a reach in the 3rd. Edelman in the 4th, I think was a reach as well. Landry in the 5th, I thought was good. And Rob Gronkowski, I think is terrible. So,
All right, let's go to Bean. What are your thoughts on Jay's top 6 picks?
Yeah, I got to kind of go in a similar direction. I mean, Saquon, you got to love Saquon, even though he plays for the Giants.
Yeah.
But when you start getting to those picks, I mean, you could have gotten Gronkowski in like round 12. You could have gotten, I'm trying to remember who's his third.
Ingram.
Oh, Mark Ingram.
In half a mile.
Mark Ingram, they're talking about that being like a hardcore committee, and he might even lose the starting job. That's why I didn't want him as a keeper anymore, and I didn't want him as a keeper in 4, and he took him in 3. I think there was a lot of reaches there, and Edelman too. Again, a reach. You could have gotten him a round or two later.
PA 663.
Okay.
John Francis Highway.
Josh, any other additional comments about Jay's team so far in the first 6 rounds?
I didn't like it. I mean, honestly,
I don't like it.
these two kind of said pretty much everything. But then if you look at his team and I think about it, I love Saquon Barkley, and I'm thinking to myself, would I trade my team for his if I could have Saquon Barkley? And the answer is a big no, because I don't like it. I did want Jarvis Landry. I think Jarvis Landry was the best pick out of all. Obviously, other than Saquon, but Jarvis Landry was the best pick out of all of them. But I think he could have waited around maybe 2 on every one of those. Gronk, I wasn't going to touch Gronk. I don't know how many other people in the league were going to actually go after Gronk, but he had no danger from Gronk. So
Okay. Yeah, and I'll kind of echo some of those sentiments. I probably wouldn't have taken Gronk until maybe the 10th round. I do like Jarvis Landry in the 5th. I think that's a decent pick. Saquon, number 2, is a no-brainer. I like Juju 2nd round in the back end, like Det said. But, yeah, Mark Ingram and Julian Edelman, I think you could have done better than 3rd and 4th overall. But you know what? You didn't put a lot of effort into the draft this year in terms of your prep, which you've already mentioned. So, you got to put a little bit extra time into the regular season. All right, the 3rd pick of the draft was Ed Lager. 1st round, he took Michael Thomas. 2nd round, Michael Evans. 3rd round, David Johnson. 4th round, Hollywood Brown. 5th round, Cam Akers. And then 6th round, Henry Ruggs. All right, let's go to Bean first this time. We'll kind of switch it around a little bit and see what everybody thinks, just so we're not biased. All right, Bean, first up, go ahead.
I love Thomas and Evans. I don't know about David Johnson. I mean, he could be good this year, but that's a big question mark for your 3rd overall pick. Marquise Brown, kind of similar. He could be, he showed some definite flashes last year. He could be great, but in the 4th round, same thing. Cam Akers, then you got Henry Ruggs. You're kind of, it almost feels like a little bit early to be cashing in those lotto tickets. But I mean, on the other side, if some of those guys pay off, that could end up being a really solid first 6 rounds.
All right, let's go to our driver, Josh.
you have to say those again because
All right, here we go.
I was in traffic.
That's all right. We got Thomas, Evans, Michael Thomas, Evans, David Johnson, Marquise Brown, Cam Akers, and Henry Ruggs.
The last 2 picks, if they work out, then he has a really solid first 6 rounds. Obviously, Michael Thomas, no-brainer. Evans could be lights out. You just never know what's going to happen there. But Evans is typically, I don't know, he doesn't go 8 yards and a turnaround. He doesn't run hook routes, so I don't know. I don't know. He's got Lamar Jackson, so who gives a shit, right?
Okay, fair point. Fair point. Det?
Right?
Yep.
All right. Action.
Action. What do you think about Ed's team?
I think no sleep till Pittsburgh. Michael Thomas, freaking beast. Who would have won him on his team? Mike Evans is all right. He's going to get you the big donut. 1-0 at least. I don't care if Tom Brady's your quarterback or not. David Johnson, you're going to run off. He's all right, but he's only going to last 3 games. You're going to run the wheels off, and he's going to probably lose a leg. Marquise Brown, don't like the pick, but I understand it was Lamar Jackson. A little Lamar to Hollywood, MVP to Hollywood. Cam Akers, don't like the pick at all. He's a running back by committee, and even if he becomes like the Rams star or something, they're just not that good of a team. And I hate the Henry Ruggs pick. I think he's going to be a bust. You're basically just drafted Darius Hayward-Bay, part 2, and you You should have picked somebody else here. Anybody else. Sterling Shepard in round 7 was better than him.
All right. Ed, I obviously like your top 2 picks. Thomas and Evans are clutch. I really think David Johnson in the 3rd round is incredible. You couldn't get David Johnson in the 3rd round in the last couple of years, and I think that the Cardinals misused him. So I think Houston will probably do a little bit better job of utilizing his talent. I'm not crazy about your last 3 picks, 4, 5, and 6. Marquise Brown has that breakout potential. I understand, like Delling said, that Lamar to Brown connection. Akers and Ruggs, I don't mind you taking rookies. If they hit, it's going to be golden. You know, I'd much rather take rookies versus like aging veterans, so it might work out really well for you. But I don't know, I feel like that 5 and 6 pick are going to really predict how your season's going to go. And then Josh said he has one more thing he wants to say.
Once David Johnson breaks a hip, Duke Johnson's available for trade.
And you took Duke Johnson what round?
That'd be the 17th round.
All right, so 3rd round for 17th round if you're interested. Up next with the 4th overall pick, we had none other than Sexy Disco. 1st round, Eazy-E. 2nd round, Galladay. 3rd round, keeper Miles Sanders. 4th round, JTT. 5th round, J.K. Dobbins. And then finally, 6th round, Christian Kirk. We'll start off with Josh this time. Josh, what's your hot take on Disco's first 6 rounds?
Definitely don't love it. So let's go with number 1 pick, Eazy-E. He was kind of a bust last year.
You had him, right?
I did, and he didn't perform very well. If that's any indication of future performance, then he definitely wasn't worthy of the number 4 pick, but we'll see. He took 4 running backs and 2 wide receivers in the first 6 rounds, and I think 3 of those running backs are questionable picks. So what was the 4th running back?
J.K. Dobbins.
No, that's the worst pick. No,
Jonathan Taylor.
that's the 2nd worst pick.
Miles Sanders. And then,
Miles Sanders, yeah. Miles Sanders isn't a bad keeper, but again, I don't know. I don't think he has, other than Eazy-E, doesn't have a clear, good running back. Like Miles Sanders, but he's hurt. He's on the Eagles' offense. I don't think it's a good pick. And then his wide receivers,
Galladay and Kirk.
yeah, I think Kirk is a bum. I really don't like that pick. Galladay's a good pick. I mean, what round did he take Galladay? 2nd round. I was thinking 3rd or 4th. Never mind. I think Disco's first 6 rounds are BS. I think it's terrible. I think Disco's going to be in last place.
All right, I'll go next. So I think that Eazy-E is the easiest pick that you can make. I had Galladay last year, and when he hit, it was beautiful. It was a Galladay, but there were several weeks where he didn't hit. I know you love your Sanders, and I hope that he bounces back from his injury and performs for you. Your 4th and 5th round, I hope that they perform for you, but I feel like they're a little bit early and they're a little bit questionable. Jonathan Taylor, I know he is probably going to overtake that job in Detroit, in Indianapolis, but it might not be right away. It might take you 6 weeks. I don't know much about J.K. Dobbins, I'm going to be completely honest with you. And I'm not really crazy about it just because Lamar Jackson runs so much on his own. I think Christian Kirk is going to be a nice 6th round pick. I think he is going to have a breakout year. I really do. Sorry. Without Hopkins in the way, I think he's going to finally emerge. All right, Delling, what's your thought?
Wait, did you say without Hopkins?
Yeah.
Christian Kirk?
Oh, sorry. Hopkins is there, yeah. But I think it'll help him because it's going to take some attention away from him.
As I was saying before Brian screwed up on the app, I was saying that Eazy doesn't like to show up to spring training, and Bigelow doesn't like to show up to the draft, apparently. Can't get a good ride. can't get a trusty person to pick him up. And the whole draft suffers because of it, just like the Dallas Cowboys yesterday and our last year. They didn't get their reps. So, you know, did they make the playoffs? I think they were 8-8 or something. Anyway, Galladay, not a fan of Galladay. Detroit's going to a more run-heavy system, Matt Patricia New England style. So he's not going to get a ton of balls thrown to him. He might get a jump ball here and there, and if he doesn't get it, he's screwed. So every day is not a Galladay. Miles Sanders, the only thing that's good about him is he's from Penn State. We got Jonathan Taylor. I mean, it would have been better if he was Jonathan Taylor Thomas. Also, you sniped me on him, so good for you. I'm happy. Don't even bother trading me. I'm not going to take him. And J.K. Dobbins, I mean, why J.K. Dobbins? I mean, is he with J.K. Rollins? Just saying. He's the second fiddle in a run-heavy offense with Lamar Jackson being the main rusher. He gets a lot of rushing. Gus Edwards does too. So does Justice Hill. So does Mark Ingram. So does Marquise Brown. You see where I'm going? It's just a ton of players, not a lot of balls. Which you might want to you might want to use that to describe Bigler's team.
Exit the highway at exit 56.
Anything on Christian Kirk?
Oh yeah, that guy. He's just a walking injury, man. Put the boot on him already.
In half a mile. Exit
All right, and let's go to Bean. Anything you want to add to all of this already, Bean?
I mean, Elliott, you know, much like the ride that you were supposed to take here, at one point in time, it was a good, solid ride. But these days, not as much. Any guy that wears a half shirt regularly, I just can't trust him leading the running back on my team. Galladay is inconsistent. Miles Sanders is already hurt. And they've been really talking up Boston Scott as having not just a backup role, but really playing a significant passing down back role in that offense.
left.
Jonathan Taylor, like,
westbound.
you know, again, he's in a situation where the coaches said that Marlon Mack, it's his job to lose. And Taylor might overtake him at some point, but then again, he might not. Maybe this is the competition that Mack needed. And then you got J.K. Dobbins, and, you know, just kidding. You know, Dobbins might be a free elf now. Somebody gave him some clothes. But, you know, we're talking about him with your fifth pick. You know, and it's a big reach, and the only Christian Kirk that I like is Kirk Cameron. That guy makes some good books there.
That's good. That is good. Yeah, all right. Next up with the fifth pick, we had Gags, a.k.a. the Fry Cook, a.k.a. What else we got?
Hercules.
Murderer.
All right, Murderer, Hercules. I don't remember those, but all right, we'll go with it. First round, we got Julio as a keeper. That was him, right?
That's Julio.
Yep. Second round, Kelsey. Third round, T.Y. Hilton. Fourth round, A.J. Green. Fifth round, Deshaun Watson. And sixth round, Tariq Cohen. All right, it's back around to me. Obviously, can't go wrong with Julio with the fifth pick. Nice pick. Kelsey is kind of a homer pick for him personally. He loves Kelsey and kind of caught us off guard since he had Higbee already. Third and fourth round pick is where I felt like I finally believed Gags, and that he said he just literally printed off the 300 list. I mean, T.Y. with the third pick, all right, whatever. But A.J. Green in the fourth, he's unproven. He's getting old. He's been injured more than not. Now I understand that you're not kidding around. You really have done no research. Deshaun Watson in the fifth, I like that pick. And then sixth, Tariq Cohen. Yeah, he's going to catch a lot of balls. But, I mean, Gags, as much as we hate to admit it, he shines in the regular season. Not every year. Sometimes he takes a year off. But certain years he makes amazing trades and gets his team ready for the playoffs. Hopefully this is an off year. So those are my thoughts so far. Detling, what are your thoughts on Gags' draft, the first 6 rounds?
First 6 rounds. My thoughts on Gags' 6 rounds here is Julio Jones, amazing receiver. Hate that you were able to keep him. Hate that somebody traded him to you. Wish I had him. Kelsey in the second round. We can't fault you for falling in love with your boy. The guy's a beast on a great offense. T.Y. Hilton, not so much, man. I know you got Phillip Rivers, or you want Phillip Rivers to the T.Y. Hilton connection, thinking he'll be the Keenan Allen, but it's just not going to happen. He can't even. Rivers can't throw the deep ball anymore. AJ Green, I don't even know if the guy will make the field, man. Deshaun Watson, love the pick.
Yep.
Unfortunately, no Hopkins to throw to. And Tariq Cohen, we can just call that a wash. It's all right. It's a wash.
Yeah.
Might happen, might not.
All right. Bean, what are your thoughts on Gag's first 6 rounds?
I love Julio. Julio really was more consistent last year. And like Julio is always fantastic, but if you look back at past years, he would have these like 2 or 3 incredible games, and then he was like on the good side of average for a lot of the other games. So he would really carry you, but then wasn't like your number one pick, number one overall pick that you wanted him to be. But last year he was a lot more consistent. So maybe you'll get that this year. Travis Kelce is great, and with a bunch of tight ends gone, I have no problem with that in 2. T.Y., I don't know. He's up and down. He hasn't really seen the years that he saw early on. AJ Green, like we said, that's a gamble right now with his injury history and everything. I've got no problem with Deshaun Watson there. And Tariq Cohen, I mean, that was kind of the area of the world we were in. That if you wanted a running back, that's Tariq Cohen at that point. So I don't have a problem with this. Nothing really jumps out at me that I'm overjoyed with. I think this is just a pretty standard mid-round draft. Everybody's pretty solid. Nobody unbelievable, but nobody bad.
All right, finally, our driver, Josh. What are your thoughts on Gag's first 6 rounds?
I don't know if it's really going to matter because Gag's team is never the same at the end of the year as it is in the beginning.
True. So very true.
But I think Julio, solid keeper for 11th. Kelsey, I mean, you can't go wrong with one of the top tight ends in the second round. I mean, how are you going to fault that? What was the third?
Third was T.Y. Hilton.
Yeah, I think honestly, T.Y. hasn't really had a consistent passer. So as long as he can get a consistent thrower, he hasn't had one since Luck was actually good. So I don't know. I actually don't mind this pick as much as you guys do. I probably this is one of those ones where it could be a resurgent year for a guy who's definitely has the skills. So and then 4th round.
AJ.
Oh, AJ. I don't think I would have. I don't know. I mean, if he comes back and he's a resurgent, then that's a great pick. But I don't know. With the Cincinnati offense, I don't know. I think Cincinnati's going to be 2-14 this year, so I really don't see AJ touching the field, honestly. Who's next?
Deshaun Watson.
I wanted him. Yeah. Had he made it all the way to me, I was picking him. So good pick.
And then Tariq Cohen.
Pass catching back. I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, I think at that point, I mean, you got yourself a nice flex bag. I think that's pretty.
Next up, we have the Springfield Isotopes. And with the 6th pick, here are his 6 first picks of the draft. We have Alvin Kamara, first round. Aaron Jones as a keeper in the 2nd round. Calvin Ridley, Will Fuller, Deontay Johnson, and Philip Lindsay. What are your thoughts right there off the cup, Delling?
Well, I think Kamara on the 6th slot is pretty darn good. Surprised that he fell that far. So good pick there, Craig. Aaron Jones in the 2nd round. Not too crazy about. I think he's going to regress a little bit as far. I mean, 19 touchdowns last year. That's not repeatable. It's just not. So I'm kind of surprised by that in the 2nd round. But hey, to each their own. Calvin Ridley in the 3rd. I like that pick. But I like the pick, but I also think that for your wide receiver 1, I think it's garbage. Will Fuller, injury prone. I mean, it's a great pick as long as he doesn't get hurt, which he does a lot.
Yeah.
And Deontay Johnson kind of messed with me because I thought, Craig, why don't you just keep him, man?
Uh-huh.
And whatever late rounds instead of
It would have been the 10th.
Chase Edmonds. I didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, traded draft. I don't know. Whatever. I'm not the one who made trade. And Philip Lindsay, I like because I thought about taking him, and I knew. And Craig said, talked his first trash of the draft, which is this one's for you, Datling. And he put it up there because he knows I'm a Lindsay fan. And I did struggle with it because maybe I should have taken him, but teach their own, and we'll see what happens.
You Lindsay fan?
Right. Kevin Bean, what are your thoughts on Craig Kubic's first 6 rounds?
I love Alvin Kamara. How can you not? Aaron Jones, I think he spoke a lot about working on his pass catching in the offseason. If that is true, and he really did, and he's going to catch a lot more balls, then that could be a steal at that point in the second round. Calvin Ridley, I'm either way on. He's good, but it's nothing that jumps off the page at me. Will Fuller, like Det said, if he stays healthy, that's a fantastic 4th round pick. The odds are not in his favor for staying healthy, though. Guy is never great for your team when you can't play him. As far as Deontay Johnson, I don't know. I didn't like him there. Maybe a little bit early. And Philip Lindsay, kind of similar. I just felt like it was a little bit early to be taking guys that aren't starters in their own team. I got Carlos Hyde in round 18, and you don't necessarily want Carlos Hyde over Philip Lindsay, but at the same point, Carlos Hyde is going to be the starter to begin the season, and they didn't say that he's just hanging on to the role until people get healthy. They said he's the starter until he loses the position. So there were still guys out there to be able to take that were good running backs before you went to Philip Lindsay there.
All right, Josh, anything you want to add on about Craig Kubic's draft?
Kamara, he's iffy. Maybe he'll bounce back year. I didn't want him, obviously, because I didn't need a running back right before you, so I took a wide receiver. But had I needed a running back, he likely would have been the pick. But he is risky a little bit. Aaron Jones, Rodgers doesn't have a lot of wide receivers, so if he does improve his pass catching, he's checking down a lot. That could be bad news for the rest of us. Then he took, who did he take? 3rd round?
Ridley, and then Fuller.
Ridley,
and then Johnson.
Ridley's a good wide receiver, assuming he's healthy. And then Deontay Johnson, I don't know, 4th round,
Well, it was Will Fuller in the 4th.
Will Fuller,
Deontay Johnson in the 5th.
That's a little better.
And then Philip Lindsay in the 6th.
The 2 wide receivers are iffy. And then Philip Lindsay, I love Philip Lindsay. Dude's a beast. I would have taken him there. So overall, if I could lick your butt, lick your balls, I would. I love you, Craig.
Wow, I did not see that coming.
You didn't see Greg coming either.
No.
He was in the back.
Yeah, that's very true. Craig, not to just reiterate too much, but I actually do like your receivers. There's a little bit of a question mark. I like Ridley, Fuller, and Johnson. There's a lot of upside. There's some risk involved with injury and, playing time, but I think that you'll probably do pretty well there. Lindsay's good in the 6th round, so I like your first 6 rounds, and I hate that I have to play you twice. So those are my thoughts. Next up, we've got the 7th pick overall was Possum Magic. First 6 rounds, Derrick Henry, Tyler Lockett, Melvin Gordon, Chris Carson, Stephon Diggs, and Hayden Hurst. We'll start off with Bean. What do you think, Bean?
Well, I have to say, Derrick Henry. Now, Tree swears that I did not influence his pick, that he was going back and forth about it. But immediately on his first pick, I started quietly talking up Henry in the background. And I was like 3 feet from where he was, just trying to influence that pick because I wanted Hilaire and I knew that he would take him. So I just kept plugging that quietly in his ear like the little devil on his shoulder. And sure enough, he went up and took Henry, and I was thrilled that he took Henry. Tyler Lockett's good, but he can be a little boom or bust, to be honest with you. Melvin Gordon, I got to say, I hate this pick. I hate Melvin Gordon at 3. He's having trouble adjusting to the altitude. He's already limping. I mean, this is a guy that has just perpetual knee issues, and they haven't even gotten into contact drills yet, and he's limping. He's had all offseason to rest and recover, and he's already walking with a limp. Chris Carson, I don't really have an issue with that. Same thing with Stephon Diggs. I like him at 5. Hayden Hurst, it's kind of a not the most exciting pick at 6, but when you look at what tight ends were off the board and how few tight ends are actually decent, I don't have a problem with him at 6 either. We're kind of getting to these rounds right now where we're just like in stable picks. Like these guys aren't too boom or bust risk reward because you didn't have to go that far in between picks. So that's pretty standard for the middle of the draft.
All right, Josh, what are your thoughts on Tree's draft?
Are you sure that was Tree's draft?
That was Tree.
Are you sure that was Tree's draft?
I mean, I'm looking at it again. It says Possum Magic.
Did he swap names with somebody?
As far as I can tell, that's actually who he drafted.
Okay. All right. Well, I think this is the first year I've ever seen Tree's draft, and I knew most of the names. And he actually had stickers for most of his guys. He's usually he usually has 4 or 5 write-ins on the board by the end of the draft. And remember when it was 20 rounders and like round 15 through 20 was all write-ins?
Yeah.
I don't think I said who once when he drafted a player.
He might not use up all of his transactions by week 3, dropping all those write-ins to pick up players that'll actually play football. But I think his draft was incredibly safe. I think he went super, super safe. Derrick Henry, he's a runner. He's not going to catch much. It's safe. It's a safe pick.
Yeah.
Can you just read off?
Tyler Lockett?
I can't look at the board.
Yeah, Tyler Lockett, Melvin
I don't
Gordon.
like Lockett in 2. I think I don't know. I wouldn't have gone with Lockett, but that's just me.
Melvin Gordon at 3.
I wouldn't have gone Melvin either, but, whatever.
Chris Carson at 4.
Yeah, he's hurt.
Stephon Diggs at 5.
New team.
Hayden Hurst.
Decent. He could be probably the best pick of the 6 for the position that he got him in, being of what tight ends were actually available. So he tried to play it safe, but I don't know. Maybe you should have just wrote in your top 6.
Wow. All right, Detling, what do you think?
That was a whole lot of stuff there.
It was.
Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
I mean, that's when you're thinking about what a running back is. Derrick Henry comes to mind.
Yes.
But not a modern day. But this guy he's their whole offense.
Yep.
So he should get a ton of touchdowns and great first round safe bet. I can't argue with it. I thought he might fall to me. Tyler Lockett, pretty good. Melvin Gordon in the 3rd round's all right. Chris Carson in the 4th. I thought about taking him myself, but I wasn't quite sure. I knew he was like injury prone. But Seattle is a run heavy offense as well. Diggs going to a new team. I didn't really like that. And Hayden Hurst, I think you're basically getting Austin Hooper too. So it's not bad.
Trace, your first 6 rounds are amazing. Don't let anybody tell you anything different. Compared to your last draft and maybe your last 2 drafts, this one is head and shoulders above what you've drafted. I'm kid you not, I probably would have traded you heads up. We've pretty much got equal teams for the first 6 rounds. The only thing I probably wouldn't have done is I probably wouldn't have gone with Melvin Gordon. I think he's going to be in a little bit of a shared backfield. I'm not crazy about that. But other than that, I think you've got a solid squad. Not to say that you're going to win the league, but you're going to be in contention. So, well done. Overall, great draft tree. All right, next up we've got Detling, Yinzer Jags with the 8th pick overall. His first picks were Devontae Adams, Adam Thielen, Amari Cooper, Tyler Boyd, James White, and the Baltimore D. We're going to kick things off with Josh. What do you think, Josh?
Devontae Adams.
I think I thought about Adams when I took Tyreek, but the problem is there's nobody else to throw to. Lazard is the next best option, and he was crap last year, so he's got to really pick it up this year if they're going to get anything in double coverage off of Adams. I mean, That was why I went with Tyreek. I didn't even, first 4 rounds you picked all wide receivers, and you'd think you'd got some better ones. Tyler Boyd, I had him last year, and he was hit or miss. Amari Cooper, you made fun of me last year for drafting him in the 3rd round, and you drafted him in the 3rd round this year. And he turned out to be pretty damn good for my team, but, I think you made a horrible pick. That's terrible. I'm going to make fun of you this year. Actually, I think that might have been a good pick because I had him last year. What was his 4th one?
Boyd.
Then
Boyd was
James White.
James White in the 4th.
in the 5th.
Boyd was 4.
Boyd was 4. Well, who was 2nd round?
Adam Thielen.
Oh, Thielen. Oh, man, you can't go wrong with Thielen. I actually like that pick.
And then Ravens D in 6.
So James White, I mean, I can't remember your keepers, but I sure as hell hope you have a better running back for your RB1 than James White. He's not there. Yeah, you're screwed if that's your RB1. And then Baltimore D, I had a chance to keep them. I had a couple of keepers other than Fournette. I may have chosen the wrong one. Baltimore D was one of those. I almost kept them. I mean, they're a hell of a D. They got me a lot of points, but I don't know. 6th round, I don't know.
All right, I'm going to just add on to that, not rehash the same things you said, but you're going to be stacked at wide receiver. You can't go with Adams, Thielen, Cooper I hate, but at the same time, if he continues on the trajectory he was last year, it'll be all right. Boyd as your 4th receiver is not bad. I agree with Josh. James White in the 5th is absolutely insane. However, it may get you a bunch of catches. And the Ravens D, I believe that was the first defense off the board in the 6th round. If you want a defense, you got to take them early. So if that's the defense you want, you got them. But you are going to be struggling in the running back position. So you might have to make a few trades to kind of beef that up. Or you're just going to go 2 running backs and 4 receivers the entire season.
Duke Johnson's available.
Yes, Duke Johnson is available. But overall, not an awful first 6 rounds. I think you probably could have got the Ravens in the 7th or the 8th. You might have reached on them a little bit, and I think James White was probably evidence of little to no prep. All right, Bean.
I love Adams. I have no problem at all with Adams. And I also think because Green Bay drafted a quarterback, that Aaron Rodgers is absolutely going to be playing with a chip on his shoulder all season long. I think Adams is going to go off this year. And I don't even have a problem with Lazard. That's why I drafted him late.
Yeah.
But I love Thielen. You got to love Thielen. Amari Cooper is a bum. And I've said it many times before. He's got bad hands. He drops a lot of passes. His old team, before he came over, he wasn't even the best receiver on his own team when he was with the Raiders. And that is statistically correct. You can go back and look at the numbers of those seasons. He was supposed to be the wide receiver 1, and he wasn't putting up as good numbers consistently. So I've never liked Amari Cooper. Tyler Boyd, I'm not going to rehash what everybody else said about him. I agree. James White was it's interesting because in a season that had a historically deep set of wide receivers, you chose to go 0 running back. And I think you really could have taken a running back a little bit higher and then gotten some really solid wide receivers still. And the Ravens, everybody else is saying it's a reach. Honestly, round 6 historically is where we start to grab at defenses. And defenses, there was 2 good ones kept right off the bat. So I don't have a problem with round 6 pulling the Baltimore defense.
All right, then we will give Detling a chance for his rebuttal. Any kind of comments you want to add to your own draft? Okay.
First off, thank you for the insightful information in an opinion, like the Daily Variety in LA. That's a Hollywood magazine brand.
Wouldn't know.
Variety. Anyways, yes, Davante Adams. Had to take him. Had to. Beast. But trying to get this guy for stupid years. Tyreek Hill's gone. What am I supposed to do? I'm not going with Hopkins. I thought about Edwards-Helaire, but I wasn't ready to to put everything on the rookie in the first round for me.
Yeah.
And being a running back as well. For me, I know it's KC offense, but it just wasn't me. Adam Thielen. I love Thielen. Sounds wrong. I love Thielen. But he's going to get a ton of targets. I know it's a run-heavy offense, but Stephon Diggs is not there. Cooper, yes, he's a bum. I will admit, I've called this man many names.
Yeah.
Including last year at the draft.
I
drafted
yes.
in the 3rd round.
I was like the 3rd round. I couldn't resist. The idea of the offense with 3 great wide receivers, and Cooper, and it's just I feel like they're set to go off this year, and I think Cooper might benefit. And I just took a chance. And Tyler Boyd, I like the guy, man. He's a Pitt program guy. He's from Pitt. I dealt to him in the casino. Super nice guy. And I think he's going to be good for Cincinnati because I think that AJ's going to get hurt. James White, I don't fucking know. I had no running backs. I just took the top of my, I think it was. He catches passes. I thought maybe he'd be a dump off for Cam Newton because he doesn't know his squad right now.
Yeah.
And Ravens defense, I wanted them. I didn't think they were going to make it back to me, and I didn't want to get stuck. I think last year I was streaming defenses left and right, and I just thought it'd be nice to have a defense that you could not have to think about.
Next up with the 9th pick overall was none other than the Dub C Hooligans, and his first 6 picks were Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Allen Robinson, Cooper Kupp, Mark Ingram. Oh, that's not true. Who was your 4th pick? David Montgomery. Then you got, Evan Ingram and Russell Wilson. Delling, what are your first thoughts?
I love the Edwards-Helaire pick. It's a good gamble. It's not a huge gamble. It's a small gamble, huge reward. If he is the number 1 and if Andy Reid uses him like Andy or Brian Westbrook, look out, we're all in trouble. Allen Robinson, love the Allen Robinson pick. I was going to take him if he didn't, because he's the number 1 receiver in Chicago, and he's just a beast. It doesn't matter what kind of shitty quarterback he has. Cooper Kupp,
You love him?
love him. Well, I don't need to say anything else. David Montgomery, that's a little iffy. Hopefully he improves from last year, but we'll see. Evan Ingram, not for me, not that early. I just don't. I had him once. He was good, but he gets hurt a lot, and I was just not a fan of him anymore, especially on the Giants.
And then Russell Wilson, 6th round.
Oh, there was another one. Sorry, Russell Wilson. Go Hawks.
And you are wearing the Seahawks socks. All right. I agree, Bean. I really like with Delling. I like Bean's 1st round pick. I was hoping he would drop to me with the 13th pick overall, but obviously he did not. So good pick on the 9th. And you may or may not have influenced True Slice, but you got him. Allen Robinson, yeah, he's a machine in terms of getting targets. He's gonna produce. Cooper Kupp, can't complain. David Montgomery, I think it's going to be like hit or miss. I've heard people say that he could be a league winner, but he could also be a bust. So, like, in a 4th round pick, that's not. It's a good gamble to take. I agree with Ingram. You probably could have waited a little bit longer to get somebody different. And Russell Wilson, he'll probably be pretty consistent for you, but he might not perform for you in the Tonto Bowl, as Josh will probably tell you next. Josh, what are your thoughts?
First overall pick, good pick. I actually was hoping that he would sneak back to me. I knew he wouldn't, but I was kind of hoping I was going to take him if he did. But not being that I didn't have a 2nd round pick, I 100% knew he wasn't going to make it back to me. But anyway, good pick.
Allen Robinson, 2nd pick?
Yeah, I thought about keeping him. I got him in round 5 last year. It would have been round 4 this year.
Yeah.
The way the decision was between Baltimore, Allen Robinson, and Fournette, and with the 5th pick and the Gags position on the back end of 2, I thought Fournette was the likelier or the better bet because there were just more wide receiver options, and I could get a defense when I needed one. So great pick. I think Allen Robinson was part of the reason I made it to the Tonto Bowl. So great pick.
Cooper Kupp is in round 3.
Yeah, Cooper Kupp. I mean, I have Jared Goff, so hopefully, I hope Cooper Kupp does well.
And then we have David Montgomery in 4th.
Yeah, I mean, safe pick.
And then in the 5th, we got Ingram.
Yeah. I actually traded for this guy at one point. I think I got him in the 16th round because he's a good tight end, you know, when he actually performs as a tight end, does his fucking job. I got a lot of shit for taking this guy in the 16th round, but
It's true.
Kevin Bean just took him in the 5th. You know,
Fair point.
I don't know. I wouldn't have done it.
And Russell Wilson in the 6th.
He who shall not be named in the 6th round is fucking sacrilege. I mean, seriously? You couldn't have picked a better quarterback in round 6? Russell Wilson is going to fuck you in the ass in the playoffs. You will
Comfortable.
literally have a decent year. You might make the fucking playoffs. I hope you get a bye in the 1st round, and then, oh, I'm going to win because I'm projected 170 points and my opponent's 155. All Russell Wilson has to do is score 40. He can do that. Well, fuck no, he can't. He'll score you 22 points in the fucking Tonto Bowl, and you'll lose. So, fuck no. I don't like that pick.
Okay, I think we've got your assessment of Russell Wilson in the 6th round, okay?
And the draft should have been in Connellsville.
Fucking right, it should have. Fuck you, Russell Wilson.
All right, we got it. All right, Bean, any reply to all that?
I was thrilled with Hilaire. Same with Robinson. Kupp, I was just thrilled it got past Detling. I mean, to be honest with you, I was shocked when Detling took Amari Cooper instead of Cooper Kupp, and I was happy to have him. Montgomery, I know we're only looking at the first 6 rounds, but honestly, he had more to do with who my keepers were. He was the best ranked running back at that time. You know, and I had Ronald Jones already. You know, I had some other running backs going. Same thing with Ingram. He was the top tight end at that point. A handful had already flying off the board. He was the last tight end in that tier. After him, they started to really drop off. So if I wanted a tight end, you know, pick 5 was the time to do it. And Russell Wilson, honestly, that was a gift to Josh so that he didn't have to take him somewhere down the line. We were all joking that we were just going to keep passing him until the value got so good that Josh had to take him. But
I would take him to sit his fucking ass on my bench all year.
All Russell Wilson does every year is end up being a top 5 quarterback. Every single year. And he doesn't always seem the flashiest, but every year that's what the guy does. So, yeah, you know, I might have to look at the matchups and decide for playoffs if I make it there.
He had a great matchup in the Tonto Bowl. Don't even count on it.
But I'm pretty happy with my first 6 picks.
With the 10th pick overall, we have the Mighty Midgets. His first 6 picks were DeAndre Hopkins, Joe Mixon in the 2nd, Zach Ertz in the 3rd, Cortland Sutton as a keeper in the 4th, Eckler as a keeper in the 5th, and then Matt Ryan in the 6th. I'll kick things off here and say that he's not that unpredictable as a drafter. He likes who he likes, and he takes who he takes. I was a little bit surprised, not a lot, but DeAndre Hopkins, 1st round. He's a stud receiver. I mean, a lot of people are scared off because he's going to Arizona, new quarterback, new system. Not a horrible pick. Joe Mixon in the second. Wow. He's in the 2nd.
Quit looking at me.
I was looking at Josh. You got me. Not a bad pick. I mean, it's like 15th overall. Not a horrible pick. Ertz in the 3rd. It's a weird kind of thing that he has to try. I think he was really trying to save the fact that he kept Goddard, you know, last round. He's kind of going to lock on that Philadelphia tight end. And the fact that Philadelphia doesn't have a lot of receiving options, so Ertz is probably going to get a majority of it. Good pick. Cortland Sutton, number 1 from Denver. Not a bad keeper in the 4th. Eckler in the 5th. Great pick. And then 6th, I pretty much, we could have all written down that he was going to draft Matt Ryan at some point in this draft. There are certain players that people like, and this just happened to be one that, you know, you can pretty much pencil in for Crick, just a matter of when he's going to pick him. So 6th round, not bad. So overall, I don't know, Crick's, he says that he doesn't do any draft prep, he uses his app, but for the most part, he usually comes out with a decent team. What say you, Delling?
All right, sorry, I was a little stunned. I witnessed a little bit of road rage out of Josh there.
wow.
He said, "Fuck you, buddy," to some dude. I don't know what he did.
Yeah, and the guy shot at our tires.
Shot our tires.
Would you like me to explain?
Yeah, explain it.
in a minute.
Oh, okay. Sorry. All right. I like obviously DeAndre Hopkins. What a beast. Love the guy. Thank you for the championship. Joe Mixon.
You're welcome.
Thank you, too, Josh. Joe Mixon is quality for the 2nd round. He's on offense with should be a decent O-line. Zach Ertz, one of the big 4 tight ends. Can't follow him for that. Cortland Sutton, technically that's a keeper,
Yeah.
so doesn't count.
Him and Eckler.
Eckler's a keeper too, and
Both good keepers.
Eckler in the 5th is a beast move right there.
Absolutely.
Matty Ryan, Matty Ice, Matty Nice. Great offense, shitty defense, and playing in a division of capable of high scoring.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably the safest QB that you could get around that area, besides Lamar and Patrick Mahomes.
All right, Bean, what are your thoughts on Crick's team?
You can't go wrong with Hopkins. I mean, good Lord, you gotta love him. Joe Mixon, I hope he is consistent for you. I had him last year, and he was really up and down. I mean, especially at the beginning of the year, he was garbage. But I hope that how he came on at the end of the year is how he starts this year, and he's good for you. Zach Ertz, and this pains me to say because he's a Philadelphia Eagle, I'm really worried about Ertz this year. If you look at his statistics over the last 3 years, every single year his stats have gone down. And that's because for the past few years, Goto stats have gone up. Now you have him also, so it might be a bit of a carousel knowing who to start each week. But I really think it's going to be like a tight end by committee situation there, and I don't like that for how high you have to take Ertz to get him. Cortland Sutton, I think it's a great pick at 4. Austin Eckler, you got to love him at 5. And Matt Ryan from my official hometown, Exton, Pennsylvania. I always say I'm from Westchester because nobody's ever heard of Exton. But coming from the same town, I gotta root for the hometown boy, and I love the guy.
All right, and finally, Josh, what are your thoughts on Crick's draft?
First 2 rounds, Hopkins and Mixon, I think. Trying to sit here and think while these guys are talking what I would have done in your position, and I honestly can't say that I would have done it any different. It's surprising that Mixon made it back around to you. I think being that way that running backs were going and off the board, I think Mixon was the best pretty much available when Brian was picking, and I think Brian may have picked 2 wide receivers. I can't remember.
I took Jacobs.
Jacobs is hurt, I believe, but whatever. I don't know if I would have picked exactly the same as you, or if I would have took Mixon and then tried to get Hopkins, but Hopkins being a little bit more risky. I don't know, but solid 2 picks. Doesn't matter where you got them. What were the next 2?
Zach Ertz and Cortland Sutton.
Yeah, I had Ertz a year or 2 ago, and he didn't perform nearly as well as he did. Cortland Sutton, 4th round. What's the next 2?
Austin Eckler and Matt Ryan.
Eckler in the 5th, good pick. Matt Ryan, I was targeting him. Didn't get him. He was one of the quarterbacks I wanted along with Deshaun Watson, but you took him before I could get him. Good pick.
All right, with the 11th pick in the draft, which he did some finagling to get the 5th round, like the 5th pick for the 1st round, we have none other than the Shawshank Athletics. First 6 picks were Tyreek Hill, Leonard Fournette, Todd Gurley, Deebo Samuels, Jalen Rager. I don't know how to pronounce Rager. Okay. And then Jamison Crowder. Datling, we'll start off with you. What are your initial thoughts on Josh's first 6 rounds?
Well, he first picked Tyreek Hill. Can't go wrong. Kansas City offense, big play guy. Most like 65-yard touchdowns or more plays of 17 or 20 yards plus. Patrick Mahomes loves him.
Yeah.
I don't know if I was anybody, I would love to be the guy that Patrick Mahomes loves. And he just beat T.O. in a race. Barely. But, so, no, good pick. When Craig had him, freaking lit the whole world up. So, hopefully his hammy holds up. And, I don't know if I want to say hopefully. Especially if he's playing against me. Then Leonard Fournette in the second round. Not crazy about that one. I've not really ever been a fan of Fournette. But he's a running back, and they're hard to come by, as evidenced by the whole draft.
Yep.
Todd Gurley in the third round. First, I wanted to say I didn't like it, but after thinking, I mean, he's in a 1-year prove-it deal. He's in an offense who lines up almost like the Rams, where they had the 3 wide receivers.
Yeah.
And I think they have a pretty good offensive line, plus pretty good quarterback, and once again a shitty defense.
Yeah.
So Todd Gurley might be poised to rake. So good pick, I think, in the third round. As always, time will tell. Deebo Samuel in the fourth round, thought was kind of a reach, but it's Deebo. So if he's ready for week 1, that's awesome. Everybody hide your gold chains. Jalen Rager, he's a rookie, but they say that who else is in Philly that they're going to throw to? I mean, Alshon Jeffrey. Did anybody even draft Alshon Jeffrey?
I honestly don't know.
I don't even know if they did.
Yeah.
Did they? Somebody?
I don't think they did.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if they did.
Somebody laughed at that. I'm laughing. I mean, whoever did,
It's probably number 1.
All right. And Jamison Crowder, I always want to shit on this pick. Even when he did it last year, and then like he shows up, and he has like 14 catches for 100 yards. You're like, well, crap. So, and they don't have Robbie Anderson.
Yeah.
So they don't have that good of a offensive line. So he's the guy that Darnold's going to throw to. Him and Le'Veon Bell, hopefully, or not hopefully, surprisingly. So yeah, I think it was for six out of I think I like 4 out of 6 picks. So it's not bad.
All right, Bean, what are your thoughts?
Tyreek Hill, honestly, you can thank Tree Size for that. Because if Tree Size would have taken Hilaire, I would have taken Tyreek Hill. So that's why he dropped down to you.
Josh picked him 5th.
What's that?
Josh,
picked 5th.
Yeah.
Oh, you picked 5th. Oh, that's right. There was a flip-flop. Okay. Yeah, so, I mean, you gotta love Tyreek Hill. I mean, he's great. I don't think the hamstring is going to be any kind of an issue. He's still going to be a monster. That offense is going to be fantastic. No worries there. Leonard Fournette, yeah, it's a little bit of a reach, but, like, there's a lot of running backs gone. And you kind of had to take who you could get at that point, and I like him better than Mixon. So, Todd Gurley for the end of the third round, I think that's fine. That's just good value. He'll catch some passes for you. Like he's a good running back. Deebo Samuel, again, he is injured, but I don't think he's injured that badly. It's just anytime a wide receiver breaks their foot and has to get surgery to repair it, you do kind of have to be slightly concerned about that. And we did all keep saying that he was hurt as your pick. We were trying to let you know he was hurt. You were just like laser focused on getting up there and taking him, and we were trying to help you there. Jalen Rager, I think it's an early pick. I think you could have gotten him 3 rounds later, to be honest with you. There's a lot of question marks with the Eagles' offense right now, and I think I know you wanted him, and it was an excitement pick for you. And if it makes you happy, then ultimately that's what fantasy football is about. And then Jamison Crowder, I love this pick. He's going to catch a ton of passes, and we're a points per reception league. So getting Jamison Crowder in the 6th is fantastic value.
All right, I'm not going to kind of reiterate too much. All right, yes, I do, sir. And I'm not going to talk too much because they've said the majority of what I would have said already, but I will kind of piggyback. Crowder in the 6th, I think, is a great pick. You know, he's probably going to get you 80 balls, maybe not a lot of touchdowns, but he's going to get you a lot of receptions, decent points for like a WR3. Rager, like you said, you wanted him, and you knew you had a lot of Philly fans who were going to try to probably take him, so there's no guarantee that he would have been there, say, in the 7th or 8th round. So, you know, the guys you want, you got to go for. Debo in the 4th isn't horrible. You know, let's just say he's out the 1st or 2nd week, and then he comes back on strong. Like, I still think 4th round is not bad. The only picture I have a problem with is probably Fournette, because I've just never been a Fournette fan. I just don't like that he doesn't catch a lot of balls. I mean, he's a great runner, but, you know, in this beginning of the 2nd round, I'd rather get a running back that catches like a little more passes. But other than that, I liked your first 6 rounds. What are your thoughts, Josh?
Well, I picked him, so must have liked him.
I picked him. I like him.
I'll give you a little bit of my thought process.
All right.
Tyreek's obvious. I needed a wide receiver because I kept running backs and, you know, a tight end. But Tyreek was the obvious choice. Well, semi-obvious choice, I guess. But Fournette, the choice was, like I said, I think earlier, between Baltimore, Robinson, and Fournette. And I went with Fournette near the end of the 2nd because of the running back situation in the league. So that was the thought process there. And then Gurley fell to me in the 3rd, and it was a why the fuck not moment. If you guys are going to let me have him, I'll take him. Debo, I did not know he was hurt. He's a beast when he's not hurt. The guy is literally lights out. So I hope he comes back week 1, obviously. Who was my 5th?
Rager.
Oh, yeah, Rager. So, yeah, I wanted the guy, because who the hell else are they going to throw to? And I knew they were Philly fans, so I took him.
Yep.
I took him when I had the shot. So, And then Crowder, at that point, I wanted another wide receiver. There were still some starters left, decent starters left, and Crowder gave the best option for a PPR league. I was teetering between him and another guy. I can't remember even who the other guy was, but I ended up with Crowder. So.
Okay. All right, last but not least, with the 12th pick was me. We had first round Dalvin Cook as a keeper, Josh Jacobs, Le'Veon Bell, Keenan Allen, Hunter Henry, and then Jerry Jeudy. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name right or not. He's a rookie. So let's kick it off with Bean. What do you think, Bean?
I love Dalvin Cook, and how can you not? He's a great pick. Jacobs, that's another one that he said he was working on his pass catching in the offseason. Let's hope that it's true, and let's hope that he does for your sake, not for the rest of our sake, but you know, hopefully it is what it says he is. Le'Veon Bell, you couldn't have paid me to take. You cannot pay me to take any running back in an Adam Gase offense. Adam Gase is the worst offensive coordinator in football, particularly for running backs. That offensive line is not fantastic. And when you have the running style of Le'Veon Bell, which is very patient, with an offensive line that doesn't give you any time to be patient, and an Adam Gase offense, I think it's a bad combination. I wouldn't have touched him. Allen, it's a good pick. Henry, same. And Jeudy, you know, I think right about there was a time to you know, take a stab at a rookie. So I don't have a problem with, you know, in general, all of your picks I'm good with. Like I said, with the exception of Le'Veon Bell.
All right. Josh.
I don't think it's I think it's 6 quality picks. I think, you know, Dalvin Cook, seriously, he's the man. He's a hell of a running back. He's going to get you a lot of points. Jacobs he was good last year. I thought I saw he was hurt. I could be wrong, but
I think he was hurt at the end of last year, but I'm assuming it's worked out by now.
okay, well, whatever. Good pick. Who was next?
Bell.
Yeah, no. Move on.
Allen. Keenan Allen.
Yeah, I actually wanted Keenan Allen. Even though I don't think he's going to get the points that he would have normally gotten, I still think he's the best wide receiver on that team, and I think he'll do pretty well.
And then Hunter Henry.
Yeah, I mean, You got to do what you got to do for that. Go ahead.
And Judy.
Yeah, I was considering Judy as well as Rager, but I went with Rager instead because I just felt like he had more upside with Carson Wentz, I guess. And plus, there were a bunch of Philly fans, and I wanted to take him.
All right. And then, Denley, final thoughts for my team?
For your team, the first 6 rounds, Dalvin Cook. Good keeper. Good running back. Injury prone. He did you great last year until you had to go to the playoffs. And then he wasn't there. So, I have my doubts on him. I'm not sure if I would have picked him. But, you had a keeper option, so why not? I like the Josh Jacobs pick, actually. I think he's going to be great this year. And I just like the Raiders for some reason. Minus Henry Ruggs. Le'Veon Bell. Fuck that guy. Fuck him and the stupid horse that he rode in on. Guy's a piece of garbage. Plays for the Jets. He's just dumb. Not a good person. I don't enjoy him. All right, I've already told you my Le'Veon Bell stories. No time to do it now. But he's got a bad offensive line, and he's not on the Steelers. He doesn't have that offensive line style, and you're learning that it's not what the running. It's not necessarily the running back does not make the team. It's the O-line that makes it. So I'm like Josh. You couldn't Bean. You couldn't have paid me anything to take him. Maybe if you would follow me in the 4th round, and I was so desperate for a running back. Keenan Allen. Actually, Keenan Allen and Hunter Henry will go as a package deal here. Don't like them both. And it's only because Phillip Rivers is not on the offense. I think he made the San Diego offense, even if he was deteriorating. He's got Tyrod Taylor. Throws the ball maybe less than 20 times a game. He doesn't take risks. So if there's a person right next to anybody, even like within 5 inches, he won't throw it to him because he's so afraid of an interception. So, and he's a running quarterback too, I think. Anyways, I just think that their offense is going to be more run heavy, and I think that Keenan Allen is going to get 50 receptions.
Wow.
And Jerry Jeudy, like Bean said, you can take a stab at a rookie for receiving. But for me, my personal opinion, if I was going to take a stab, it was going to be CeeDee Lamb. I think he's the better wide receiver.
As his third option for the Cowboys.
As is Jerry Jeudy.
Number 1, baby.
No,
number 2.
Sutton.
Number 2.
No, he's not. Sutton. Fant.
Fant, really? In front of Jeudy?
Melvin Gordon. Those are 3 right there.
Get out of town.
I'm telling you, man.
We shall see. All right. I appreciate your concerns and your analysis, and I agree with some of it. Dalvin Cook is a big injury risk. If I couldn't get him 12th overall or somewhere in the back end, I wouldn't have taken him. And I was pissed like hell that I didn't get Madison. That pissed me off. And I knew that Kirk wasn't going to take him. Whatever. It's over. Jacobs, I'm happy to get him in the 2nd. Bell, I wouldn't take him in the first 2 rounds, but I feel he's my 3rd running back. If I can get a lot of receptions out of him, maybe he'll surprise me. I love Keenan Allen in the 4th. He's a stud receiver. He's going to get me 90 receptions. I don't care who the quarterback is. Maybe not a lot of touchdowns, but he's going to be at least 90 receptions, kind of like a Crowder, but with more upside. And I didn't really like taking Hunter Henry just because same team. He's a good and also injury prone, but I felt like I wanted to get a tight end semi-early, so I think that's going to be the pick that I regret. I'm hoping Judy is one of those breakout players that I want to keep for a couple years, but it's like your guys are saying, like it's kind of a stab in the dark. Hopefully it pays off. Time will tell. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how my team went, but at the same time, like I took some gambles, took some risks, like everyone does. All right, those were the first 6 picks from every team. Now let's just get some quick final recap about the draft. Whatever you want to say about the season, draft, anything. Bean, you go first.
You know what? I honestly think this was our best draft that we've had. Because usually we come out of it and I'll say like, man, I hate X team. That team was garbage. Usually tree slices because of all the risks he takes. But honestly, There was a lot of balance, a lot of strong picks, safe picks, mixed in with some rookies and some risk. I thought across the board, there's no one team that incredibly stands out, and there's no one team that incredibly is just bottom of the barrel. I think this is the best job that we've done collectively as a league.
All right, Josh, what are your final thoughts on today's draft?
I kind of echo what Bean said, and I honestly think it's because none of us really prepped that much. So we were all just kind of picking what we know. I mean, I think that's why Tree actually has a good team, because he didn't prep. Maybe he shouldn't prep. We just don't have the rookies in camp. You know, we don't really know what's going on in camps, but or at least I don't. I did zero prep.
Yeah.
But I think overall, if I had to pick a team I didn't like, it would be Jays. Right next to Bigler. Bigler's team is garbage.
Wow.
Bigler, if you're still listening, I fully expect a rant on the lineup, so you better get it for me. But your team is pretty much garbage, and I really fully expect UNJ to be battling for last place.
All right. Detling, final thoughts on the draft today?
Yeah, nothing like that. I was happy all the people that were there could make it and could wake up on time and not even sleep only get 30 minutes sleep and still show up. That was a wonderful, wonderful day.
Still awake.
He's still awake, so kudos to Bean. It was great to see everybody. Great to have some great food at a Gag's place as usual. As usual, I do not want to go back there because that means we got to drive across the state again.
Yep.
And that would make his 4th title in like 6 years or 7 years or something crazy.
What are you talking about?
But no, I thought it went probably the fastest draft we've ever had. Nobody bitched about rules. Everybody we weren't exchanging pleasantries about how everybody's life is and yada yada yada. We just got into work, sat down, and tried to push through. We even sat out there in the rain and we didn't take a break, which is crazy.
That's true. That might be the first draft we've never taken a break.
And we were able to ignore Bigler's mindless yapping.
I disagree. I think Bigler's mindless yapping was on full display because you could, as Bean called it, his external monologue was on full display the entire draft because we put him on Bluetooth speaker. Yeah. And it's like you didn't know that Jay was there, you didn't know that Jet was there. All you heard was Bigler talking like whatever was the first thought in his mind the entire time, which was fun.
True. And Bigler, you did not get your gift because you did not show up. We'll have to see about that later on.
Yeah, gift from Gags and from Delling.
Yeah, all you know is that you would have loved both.
Yeah.
And for me, you're supposed to get a mug.
Oh wow, that would have been 3 gifts: a mug from Bean, socks from something from Delling, and then something from Gags.
Terrible.
Just terrible. And my final thoughts on the draft were, like Delling said, the fastest draft in the entire 18 years of Tonto's demise, which some people will say is a good thing. I hated it. I hated that it was so short. Like, the fact that we were done before 4 p.m. pissed me off. It should have been another hour long. Like, I didn't know what to do with myself. Were we supposed to leave? No. You, like, hang out and you, like, BS and, like, you know, we got a picture and all that, but it was way too fast.
It's called being in your 40s, Brian.
I guess so. We spent 12 hours on the road today, maybe 13. 4 or 5 hours in person, maybe 4.5 in person for the draft. I vote wherever the draft is next year, we make it mandatory that you sleep overnight, whether it's in a tent outside, whether it's on a couch inside, whatever. You make an entire night of it. Maybe the draft, like Bigler has always dreamed of, starts at midnight, which I'm not against. Or you just... everybody sleeps over and you still do the draft on Sunday at noon. Regardless, it should be a 2-day event. And if I win, I will make sure that it's a 2-day event. Other than that, it was an amazing draft. Gags, the food was incredible. The salmon was outstanding. The veggies were incredible. The pasta salad blew me away. I love the fact that there were artichokes in there. You don't see that every day. Yeah, so I knew that we had a long drive, but it was going to be worth the drive. So you did not disappoint. So yeah, amazing draft. But yeah, it's in the books. Anything else you want to say?
The artichokes were actually pretty damn good.
Yeah, they
Not
were.
a fan of the olives. Kick those out.
Absolutely. And Josh has one more comment before we sign off.
Fuck you, Russell Wilson.
And I believe that is a wrap. So that's going to kick off the Tonto's Demise 2020-21 season. Hopefully we actually get a season in. We will not redrafted Gags, even if the season is cut short.
Right.
I don't know what the hell we'll do.
In half a
Maybe
mile,
we'll just draft online, or we just whoever's in first place when the league ends. I don't know. We'll figure something out. But hopefully we get an entire season in. That's my hope. So you ready, Daly?
I might be ready. Let's see if I'm always ready.
Go, 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 go.